Hello and welcome, guys. Welcome to the next episode of wicso. Yeah, we're here. I'm kind of sick, so I couldn't record yesterday. So yeah, don't judge me for my voice right now because I'm kind of sick. Yeah. For the first event of this, it's going to be the conclusion of this war. The Irish got pushed back just a tiny bit, but then the Irish came with a giant offense with one of the best military leaders on the planet. Because one of the best military leaders on the planet right now is Irish, so they're going to make this offense, and it's going to be a strong offense. This offense will kick the British out of the island completely. And with that, the Irish have finally gained themselves. Okay, that's it for that part. Now we see the next Treaty of Africa. This Treaty of Africa discusses this, where the British gain this territory. This space between those two will be split between the Nordic Union and Germany, when I was a major holding in Africa. We're also going to see Denmark expand to around here with their colony. The despair of the French colony, who get absolutely destroyed with them only expanding a slight bit. They straight border and go down. It's going to be one of their final borders, probably. God. Now they're going to this treaty also says that Italians will gain this. And it says that the Balkan Union will get their final expansion into Africa. It's going to be it's going to be divided with a straight line. A straight line. These two straight lines will say everything. Because they get everything behind those two straight lines. Bam. This is their new territory in Africa. This will be their last territory in Africa. Last territory from this colony. They could still move in anywhere else. Probably they're gonna focus on Madagascar because the rest of the coast is kind of hard. We're gonna see the last war between the Cypriots and the blue team. Because once again, the Cypriots move in trying to regain what they once owned. So they move in, easily destroying the blue team. And with a great military offense, they move up and divide the blue team into two parts. The Caucasus, which they will not be focusing on, because the Caucasus are hard to invade. But what they will be focusing on is this region. They will obviously make some offenses into here, because there's some army there. Mostly they take a defensive stance around there, to just focus on their Turkish parts. With them going up, and going down to the coastline, then going up, and trying to reach the capital of the blue team. Blue team right now is in a really bad situation, because the triangle team is not really reacting to all of this. because they've just recently declared their independence from the Triangle Team, and right as the invasion happened, they said they were going to leave the Triangle Team. So, just because they wanted to do their own thing, the Triangle Team is kind of holding them off. Because they wanted to invade the Red Team, but they weren't allowed to invade the Red Team. And all of that stuff. They weren't allowed to invade some countries because the Triangle Team was said like, nah, don't do that and stuff. So they left the Triangle Team so they can do that without their consent. But that kind of led to a bad thing. And the Triangle Team is really not happy to fight the Cypriots. They're not ready for that. The Cypriots are kind of strong. They have built up their military a lot since the last war. And they reached so far that finally the Balkan parts of the Blue Team fall and a peace deal is made. This peace deal says that the Cypriots will gain all of this territory. Obviously not the entire Balkan part, the Balkan will still be divided. The Balkan part will be divided up fairly soon. Just let me do this real quick. So just let me get rid of some of these blue pixels. I don't like them. Because they're blue. They are kind of annoying right now. Pterosaur is annoying to remove. God. Annoying when they just aren't there, so I'm gonna remove them, although they're annoying to remove. Bam! Removed. They're gone. Let's go. The Blue Team will just be this, I guess. This Caucasus country, with their African claims also going over to the Cypriots. This is a masterpiece of a border. The new capital of the Blue Team must be outside of the mountains, so they put it right here. The problem is, it's like really close to the Cypriots. So this could maybe lead to something bad. It will probably lead to something bad. For now, we're going to be dividing up the Balkan. Firstly, the Red Team. They gained this and that. Maybe also this. But they're not really that liked around the world. Yeah, I know the Blue Team was held off from invading them because that's just because they kind of serve as a buffer right now. And they've just recently gained independence. What's the point? You're not like them. So they gain like this territory, there's not that much. The Balkan Union probably profits from this the most, with them gaining a lot. Why do they gain a lot? Because it's called the Balkan Union and they obviously want to unite the Balkan. So the Cyprus kind of allow a lot. And then these guys, the Tunisians, demand Albania, or like some territories around Albania. They originally wanted this, but were dragged down like to this. So they gained this territory. With that, the Blue Team got reduced to a lot smaller. Again, they got defeated by the Cypriots. But this time, such a high of a defeat that the Blue Team barely exists at this point. Yeah, with that happening, Poland faces a civil war. Why? Because they're Balkan, not really civil war. They funded something within them. The Balkan Union funded a rebellion within Poland. This rebellious groups build up. And with that, a terrorist group within Poland also rises up, seeing their opportunity. So this is a bad time to be Poland. Like, a terrorist group rises up, a independence movement rises up. They just wants to unite with the Balkan Union. So it's a lot of shit that happens for them. Now the Polish obviously defend this, but it's really hard when you're attacked and you don't even have supply lines right to the other part. So they just defend the northern part, which goes successfully. Them even pushing back against the terrorists and the independence movement, which maybe brought them into the supply route again, but the supply route got blocked fairly soon already. With them trying to regain a lot, they do regain a lot, but then they lose again a bit again, and they're just stuck right now. With the independence movement even a bit moving up, with the same goes for the terrorist group, which pulls them into this. But then they push back a bit, with them pushing back to about here. But then this kind of stops. The front line up there stalemates, while the front line more like right here still goes on, with the terrorist movement now actively fighting. For some war, this territory gets split up, and these two countries and these two things officially declare independence from Poland. Which, yeah, it's really bad. Poland is not really that happy right now. But that happens. Sorry if maybe the screen is black right now. I gotta look something up. Poland basically getting reduced a lot. Getting reduced to like almost their own territory now. Yeah, that's how I edit a lot of my maps. They get reduced to like their earliest territory, but then this territory gets debated a bit. The debating goes to Poland does reclaim this. But that's it. Poland gets reduced to this territory while these two are going to fight it out for this territory, basically. This could get worse for them. Like, it could get worse with this not even working, but they aren't even connected with this. So the terrorist movements invade, but they also invade to try and connect with their independence queue in Poland. Oh god, this is a mess. Down here, the front line's getting pushed back, and the troops finally uniting around here. With these troops officially uniting themselves with these troops. Oh god. With these troops officially uniting themselves with these troops, and this officially uniting themselves with the Balkan Union. So if the Balkan Union doesn't get this down at lower territory, it's gonna be really hard to connect to this. So they're just praying at this point. But with the north being practically undefended, the terrorist movement makes it up to here, with then a peace deal being signed, which grants a lot of land to the terrorist movement. Well, but for the good part, they actually connect themselves, and the Balkan Union at least expands. With them now getting at war with the Red Team, because this is like kind of their expansion episode. See what's happening in the next episode with them, with the Red Team not even having that many troops right now, so they immediately sign a peace deal with the Balkan Union gaining some territories out of the Red Team. It's not that bad for the Red Team because they've just recently acquired these territories, and they've lost them maybe soon, but they have not lost their core territories. Yeah, terrorist movements all actually now need capital. The terrorist movement's capital going to be here. Poland is in a bad situation right now. They got beaten back by Germans. They had a civil war, and they're not feeling well. The terrorist movement now invades this light brown country, and the spearhead movement captured their capital and splitting the country. They have a military genius within them, so they know how to win wars really quick. With them again expanding out into other territories. That's gonna be, for now, their peak, but it's kind of already crazy that they got that much territory. The Russians, actually the Green Team, because their capital is in Ukraine, I don't know. The Green Team is kind of worried because this thing is crazy, although they're way smaller and younger, but the Green Team is scared, to say the least. Back to Asia, hey. Vietnam expands out, and sorry that I called them Taiwan for a time. I think in my last video, videos when they kind of formed, they called them Taiwan instead of Vietnam. Sorry, the names are kind of similar. Expand out just a bit, but now the final Japanese unification war happens. This thing starting to get invaded. The capital gets captured, but then they just recapture the capital. Now they're in a stalemate, and then the southern Japanese say, "What if we build a dual state? I get these territories, you get these upper territories, you still get to control them, but they're under one regime." They say yes, so they kind of like Austria-Hungary system here. They have two capitals. I'm going to be making an internal border within them. It's going to be the lighter color, which is going to be, and so they can accept they actually gave up territories that they own. So this is their internal border. I can put it off and on like this. It's their internal border. With them finally uniting Japan, they actually can further go up the Korean Peninsula, with them landing about here and then stopping. Now, what happens is a new Siberian group. Yay, we all wanted a new Siberian group, right? Some like northern people up here start to form a real regime and stuff and expand outwards. For some time, reaching the coast of Siberia and expanding along. But for the first part, they're just gonna look like this. They're not that big. I am though going to give them a capital. The capital is going to be here. with that, that's the episode. Bye.